Hey, hi, hello, what's going on? I got some good responses from my last rainbow gathering talk video that I did. This time I'm holding a feather to make it more comfortable to talk because in the rainbow gathering councils, there's circles of people and they'll take turns talking by holding a feather, and then that person can rant on and on and on while everybody listens because they are being polite and quiet and the person's holding the feather. And unless somebody is like hogging it for too long and they're like, alright, pass it up, they're like, you're not being productive to the council, then they have to pass it up. But other than that, it works out. That's the system that they use to know when the next gathering is going to be, where the next gathering is going to be, and how to gather people and to solve all the issues at the gathering, that the many issues of gathering thousands and thousands of people into the woods. I mean, there's people that come in with plumbing, basically, like, pipes of water and hoses, and to basically plumb the woods. That's quite a project. It, to that, you find the water sources and where all the camps are gonna be, and where they end up just popping up because more people are showing up, and you just have lines, and it gets figured out, and it gets figured out where it's gonna be. Like this year, it was going to be in Idaho, and I bet there's some town in Idaho where there's a bunch of people showing up expecting the rainbow, like looking for it. The rainbow gathering never happens in a town. The rainbow gathering happens in the national forest way outside of town with no funding. There's no porta potties, there's no facilities of any sort. You're just going away into the woods, and the closest town doesn't always have the best of view of the rainbow gathering because the people that are coming out to town aren't the people that are like the prepared rainbows, that are like really prepared and going there and making it really happen. There's a bunch of, yeah, I don't like to use the word, but drainbows of people that aren't helping it happen. They're just riding on what's happening. And those are the people that are seen on the outside that can often give the rainbow gathering kind of a bad rap in some places. In order to get to the rainbow gathering and actually see what the rainbow gathering is, you have to get past all of that, because that isn't the rainbow gathering. The rainbow gathering is the people that are way out in the woods. They've hiked miles away from their cars, and they'll stay there for weeks. There's people that go weeks ahead of time, even month or so, to like months to scout out, to find where the best spots are going to be, to start setting up camps, to start making trails. Yeah, I usually go early on, like summer solstice time, like when I posted my last video. Organizing and setting up that many people without an official leader, and it's just people taking on the responsibility of like, oh, I want to make this happen, it leads to a lot of confusion. Like this year, there's probably still people going to Idaho. Every year, it's always ignore all rumors of cancellation is a big part of it, because there's always rumors of cancellation that it's not going to happen. But this year, I heard what really convinced me that it's not happening too much. I mean, I'm sure there's people out there, like I said, and I'll get to how to find it in a minute. The people that said they weren't going, Granola Funk being one of them. There was a list of camp names. Nick at Night, which is a camp name where they give out cigarettes. And those people, didn't want to go for health reasons, or at least some people that call themselves that camp didn't want to go. There could be other people that call themselves affiliated with the Nick at Night nicotine camp, and they might be going. But there was some people from the Nick at Night camp saying that they're not going, which, if you've seen the Nick at Night people and you consider them being concerned about your health, it's quite a thought. Good. It's a you'd have to know those type of people to know how funny that is. Granola Funk is more of the theater camp, where they set up a stage, like a real stage, somewhere very far out in the woods. They'll have people perform and do little plays and stuff out in the woods, and that's kind of fun. Everyone likes going there. They try to find the right natural spot where you could get like a hill, so to the nice auditorium. It's interesting how they'll pull it off. There'll be people doing all sorts of talents there that you wouldn't expect. In order to find the Rainbow Gathering, though, like I said, it's not in the nearby towns, or it's not even like driving to it is pretty hard, because you have to find your way through very, very rural mountain roads that are barely marked, if at all. Hopefully there'll be like rock stacks or little signs that people will put up to like kind of guide you the right way, but for miles before that, it's gonna be like little tricky roads, and you're gonna be far enough out there that there might not be cell service, so you can't just constantly be Googling and tracking yourself, although that has gotten better in the last few years since I've stopped going, so I'm sure that's improved, but still, it's way out there, always. And once you find the place to even park, to even find where to park, it's going to be miles from there, possibly. Definitely when it's on the West Coast. It's a little different when it's on the East Coast, because things are a little more crammed in as far as space goes, and there's just not as far to go away from cars. But when it's on towards the west side of the U.S., you have to walk miles from the car parking areas, which are filled with buses and the craziest cars, and cars from every state almost pretty much every time. It is a crazy conglomeration of what is there in the parking lot, and that's another thing that's really, really hard to organize. Unfortunately, the people that kind of end up being in the parking lot and doing the parking lot thing are the alcoholics, sometimes called a camp. They're not really part of the gathering, because that's just where like the parking is happening. You haven't made it to the gathering yet. A lot of people get discouraged because they find their way there, and then there's a bunch of people telling them, yeah, this is it, you made it, and then they're there for like a day or two, or they might even spend a few days in that area because it's such a big area, not knowing that they have to walk now a few miles to actually find where the gathering is happening, because in the parking lot is not the best scene. Some people like that scene, but it's not the scene of what it was all started for, which is the prayer for world peace and the large oming with thousands of people. That happens deep in the woods. And in order to find that, after you find the closest town that after finding the closest town and like the right national forest and getting to the right spot in the national forest and finding your way up the mountains to the right spot and then park in your car. It's actually pretty safe to leave your car there. One time I left my keys in my door and they got brought to, that's a whole nother story. It was fine. Once you find your way through the mountain roads to the place to park, and then find your way from the parking area to hike miles down into the city of tents, and it's spread out. There are so many different camps and neighborhoods and different areas to be, so it's going to take a day of wandering around and figuring out what is the right kitchens and places that you like, that you're going to find the people that you like, because there's all sorts of people there. So days, you could move your tent around, you know, like from one spot to the other, like trying to find the right place to be, or you could just find a nice central location and do a lot of walking. It really helps to find some sort of kitchen that you like and start helping them out and get known by some people, because it just helps to be part of some groups. I did a lot of years at Instant Soup. They're a vegan kitchen. I'm not vegan, but I support the vegans, I guess. Support veganism. I grew up vegetarian. The vegan kitchen of Instant Soup was the kitchen I ended up liking to help out. For some years, I would always have soup ready for people, and people would be showing up all hours of the night and just wandering through the wood, and you'd be like, you want some soup? And hungry people in the woods just want soup. It's fun to be, but the soup kitchens aren't the only ones. Soup is just like the easiest thing to make, so there's lots of soups and stews and oatmeal, lots of oatmeal in the morning. But there's kitchens that do amazing things, like Love and Ovens makes pizzas. They make the dough and they'll make bread, and so the making bread in the woods is pretty is pretty fun. Yeah, people make anything in the woods. They'll go there and build a kitchen temporarily and then take the kitchen down because they have to leave no trace, because that's another part of it, is we're not trying to build up these places where they just go there, do the thing, and erase it, and like just make the nature nice again. And usually by the end of it, after cleanup camp is done, because there's people that are going to stay behind and really clean up, because a lot of people leave trash and stuff, but then there would be the crews that go through and clean up every bit of trash that they could find, and it ends up cleaner than it was before, because there was already trash in the woods when we showed up because of the locals and other people that are camping in the woods. There's just happens to be trash in the woods from 20 years ago, and then all of the seed camp people go through and set it up for people, and then the cleanup crew, which is sometimes the same people, so those people end up being there for months, will clean it up and return it to nature again, and seed with the natural grasses that they got from the year before, to make sure that the place will fully recover, because it does kind of, you know, trample down. You're gonna leave like mud trails all over. Oh, that threw off my train of thought. My plane of thought, because that was a plane. I've been going to gatherings my whole life since I was a little kid. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I'll be telling more stories about the Rainbow Gathering soon, because I love the response that I've gotten from people. And thank you so much, and I'm passing the feather to you. I want to hear from you now. Peace.